Hey, what's going on, everyone? Jarrell Solis with Confidence Pest Control. And as always, first and foremost, thank you so much for hitting that play button, listening to what I have to say. Hopefully, I can bring you some more value today. And more than that, hopefully, you have found some value in all the videos that I've made previously. If you have, do me a favor. Let me know some of the things that you've found that has worked for you in your business, as well as some of the things that may not have worked for you in your business. Listen, I want to help as many people as I can, and I love connecting. I've been connecting with more and more people lately. I've loved it, and I love hearing about some of the success stories and what I can do to help you guys. So if there's anything that you guys want to hear about, drop it in the comment section. If there's anything you want us to talk about specifically, maybe one-on-one, reach out to me. I'm easy to find. You can contact me at Jarrell, Jorel Solis, Solis, at confidencepest.com. Reach out to me. Like I said, I really, really would love to connect with every single one of you and as many people as possible, because I love what I'm doing. I love doing all this, and I love helping others. And hopefully, you're finding some value in it. With all that being said, I'm going to jump right into today's video. I was actually supposed to have a guest on today. Life happens. He wasn't able to make it today. We're actually going to reschedule for next week. Uh, so it's not a big deal. He's a fantastic guy. You're gonna love to hear everything he's got to say. He's a fellow pest control business owner, many years in the industry, but he actually just recently started over the past few years. So we're gonna see how he's doing, what he's been doing to grow, all that good stuff. Um, and with that being said, I asked a few people that I've connected with for some questions that you would like me to ask other, owners or people that I have on board whenever they do come. I have a few questions that I was given to ask that they thought would be great questions, and they really are great questions. Um, I was going to save those. Well, I'm using those next week, and maybe from now on, whenever I do have somebody on. But I figured those questions are a great start on making a video for you guys this week, and then it'll be fun because then moving forward we'll be able to get different answers on the same questions, which is great because there's a thousand ways to skin a cat. And one of the things that I've been talking recently with some of the other owners are how we all have the same goal in mind as to grow, and let's just we all, even though we all have different goals, we all want to get to that $1 million company, in sales. Um, and here, just within this a local area, there's multiple different companies all with that same goal in mind that are going about it different ways. And so I'll be able to ask a lot of these similar questions, the same questions, to other owners, and we'll be able to get totally different answers and things like that. So um, I'm excited about all that. I'm excited to get other people on board as well. So I said let's jump into it a couple times. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the first question. And it was, how did I get into the pest control industry? Easy, just like all of you. I knew from the time I was about 5 years old that I wanted to be a licensed exterminator in the state of Texas. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. Just like everybody, nobody ever really wanted, pest control as their life career. Most people, and if you did, they more power to you. But it just fell into my lap. I've done a little bit of everything from the Marine Corps to working at the city to having my CDL and working in the oil field. A few different jobs. I wanted something that I could be at home every day with my little girl at, where I could be with my wife every day. Pest control just fell into my lap, like I said, but it was a very fortunate and very awesome blessing because here I am all these years later, 11 years later, and I love the industry. I love what it's done for me as a person, what it's been able to provide for my family. I love the industry and being able to connect and build relationships with people. So I love it. But again, it just fell into my lap. I needed a job, and somebody I knew said, "Hey, they their company was hiring. That they just lost a technician. That they needed somebody." And I was able to get on pretty quickly. a short and sweet, easy process. And yeah, 11 years later, here we are, and here I am, giving advice on how to start your own pest control business after I've done mine for a couple of years. So funny how the world goes around, right? Number two, again, this was meant for him because he's also a military veteran. But it's a great question, for myself as a veteran. It says, what are some of the benefits of being a military veteran that we can use as a business owner? And it's a great question. Um, and I'm sure you could ask a million vets and get a million different answers. And for me, the list goes on and on and on. But some of the biggest takeaways, and my personal biggest takeaway that I can use and that I do use daily, is the Marine Corps. It's not the motto, but it might as well be. It's adapt and overcome. And the Marine Corps, that's what we do. Because say you're training for a mission, say you're training for anything, just life. You plan on something, you're getting ready for it, you're getting your plans, and then something happens that was unexpected, and it kind of changes everything, except for what the mission is. Say you've been training for something that was all dry weather, everything was supposed to be dry, but then the day of the mission it's wet. Hey, that changes things, but the mission still needs to get done. So what do? We adapt and we overcome. And that's just that Marine Corps model that I've adopted in my life, and I use it in my business as well. The ability to adapt to any situation around us, no matter what it is. You know what? Oh, my backpack sprayer died. Okay, how do I figure out a way to complete the service with a dead backpack sprayer? Oh, I ran out of granules for this specific granule. What do I do to complete the service? Um, and then business, same thing. You're going to get, my SEO company was terrible, or they didn't do the job. How do I adapt and get past this situation? So that's the biggest thing, being willing, and the mindset of the ability to adapt to any situation that you're thrown in, and then to overcome it. For me personally, I'm not a middle of the pack type of guy. I'm not the kind of guy who is just getting by. I like to be a front runner. I like to be the leader. I like to be the top dog. I am a competitor. That's just who I am naturally. So any situation I'm in, I don't want to just get through it, but I want to own that fucking situation. Like I don't want to just get through it, but I want to adapt and come out on top. Some people they just want to weather the storm and get through it. I want to get through the storm and come out the baddest dude there was. That's who I am. That's the personality type that I've got. Um, but again, it comes with confidence, that I got from the military. And the military, it trains you because you're given a specific mission or a goal or something, and it's hard. Everything you're doing there is hard, but when you get through that stuff, and confidence comes from testing yourself and passing those tests, and getting through boot camp. That's a test. So whenever I graduated boot camp, I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof because I was a brand new United States Marine. you know um, Again, but that confidence came from getting through Marine Corps boot camp, getting through my deployment in Iraq. For me, there's certain confidence levels that I got, and my confidence grew and grew, from different things that I've done. But again, the Marine Corps, the level of confidence I get from the competence that I'm able to do. I'm a very competent person. I know I've been pushed to my limits in a lot of things, and I'm still here. I've been pushed to where most people would have fallen and broken down, or failed or stopped and quit, but I'm still here. And so that's one thing. When in the military, you are constantly pushed. Your limits are tested, and you find out just how much you can go, that you can go one more. And so me knowing that I can handle so much is just that mindset now. It's like, okay, like anything that's thrown at me, I can handle because, again, I'm trained, and I have a level of confidence that just comes from the military training and all the preparation, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, the mindset is just the biggest key. That's one of the biggest takeaways that I get from the military. Sorry, long answer, but there it is. This one is kind of a two-part question. It says, "What did your support system look like in the beginning?" And whenever I first started talking about starting my business, and then what steps did I take before starting my business? For example, saving up. Did I get a loan for equipment? And what would I recommend someone doing for them starting their own business? Great questions. Um, I've talked about it many times in the steps that I took to starting my business. Sorry about that. And I it hit me one day, on a personal, on a self development and self growth type thing. It hit me one day that financially, to be where I wanted to be at, I wouldn't get there as an employee, and it was the quad Robert Kiyosaki. Let me look it up because it's a great book, real quick. Let me see. The Cash Flow Quadrant, Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, great book for anybody who hasn't read it. But he wrote the Cash Flow Quadrant, and I'm not trying to digress or anything too much. But the book was just about the four different quadrants we are financially. You know, business owner, employee, different things like that. So I won't get into all that right now, but that book was an eye opener, and it kind of hit me with it. I would wanted to start my own business, and so once I realized that I was going to start my own business, I personally dedicated a year. I said, I'm going to take the next year to spend as much time doing all the research and learning everything that I possibly can so that whenever I do start this business, I can set myself up for success. So for that year, 2022, I dedicated to reading as many books as possible and listening to all the podcasts that I possibly could. Um, I listened to everything on financial culture, entrepreneurial startup. I mean, from good to great. I listened to everything that I possibly could have. It was around 90 books that I finished the year with. Um, so that's the kind of what I did. I was just learning. Okay, these are the things because I'm good. I didn't. I know that I was good at killing bugs, and I know that I can get reviews, and I knew that I could build a relationship with a customer, but I didn't know how to operate a business. So that was my first step. Work on my weaknesses. And so I started reading to learn on how to operate a business. Um, Now, my support system, whenever I started, it was really, I mean, my support system is my wife, my family, you know, my in laws, my sisters, my friends and family. It's all of them. But for me, my support system is my wife. She's my best friend. She's my partner in life. Her and I are together in everything. She is everything to me, and without her, I wouldn't even be where I'm at today. She's everything. Um, so whenever I say my support system, like I'm 99.9% talking about her. She's been able to support me. Just she When I told her I wanted to start a business, she had my back. She believed in me, which is more than anything, you know. Just her believing in me, knowing for me knowing that my wife trusts our future and our life in my hands, and for her to say, "Okay, I believe in you. Go do it." And here I am doing it. But for her to have that faith and that confidence and trust in me was everything. It made me feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Um, and so that support, having her help me and support me and do everything that she can, and all the things that she does for me. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely phenomenal. But on that same side, I was also very, very, very fortunate and very blessed that, and I'll give credit. It was my in-laws, my wife's parents. They were able to help us because when I started, I didn't have any customers. Um, and some people will do that. Some companies you might be able to say, "Hey, I'm going to work on the side and start growing my own company." You might have a cool owner, a cool company who will allow you to do that. If so, take advantage and do that. Get you a solid customer base so that when you do go it on your own, you have some income coming in. We did have. My wife was a stay at home wife and mom. And so even whenever I started, we went from having my regular income to $0 a year in the span of from Friday to Monday. I went from making a solid living to making $0. So I had to get straight to it. Again, I was fortunate and blessed enough that my in-laws were in a position where they were able to make sure that we didn't go without. Um, our house was always taken care of, or not always, I should say. I'll be completely vulnerable and honest. There was times when we missed our mortgage payment. That first couple of years, these first couple of years, we've been good, but there have been times when we didn't make our mortgage payment for that month. We doubled it. We're able to make it. We're caught up in everything, but my in-laws were able to help us out, and then we're able to go. But again, I'm very fortunate and lucky. But again, that's not saying that they were just feeding it to us and making sure we were good to go, as far as we were living the life, because that's not the case. But we've been struggling. I can remember the very, very, very first time when it hit my wife and I, and just kind of side story. Um, in months, I mean, this was last year sometime. I don't remember when it was, but it was a great month. And I mean, I went and I had done some big jobs. I had collected some payments, had a bunch of initials. It was just, oh, it was awesome. And I went to the bank and I was able to get some, I was able to make some deposits and get everything. And we were two payments behind on our house and two payments behind on our van. And we were hurting, dude. It was struggling, but I remember that day I was able to come in with and those are those days that it's worth it. Those are those days when everything that you're doing, oh man, it's you're walking on the clouds. You're on cloud nine because it feels so good. And but that day I went to the bank and I went and got the cash that we needed to not only pay the mortgage but to completely catch up on the mortgage. And then we're hiding our van inside the garage because we don't want it to get repossessed because we're behind. But I went and I had all the money to make every single payment to completely catch up on all the van payments and our mortgage and to pay all of our bills. And so I showed my wife, I said, hey, look, here's everything we have for the van. It's completely, now we're good. We can go, we can make that payment in just in a matter of moments and we're good to go. Now our house is good to go. We don't have to worry about that. And those feelings, and those of you, I mean, in the world we live in, I'm sure we've all had some type of, feeling like that where you just don't know how you're going to do it. And that day was probably one of the superhero moments for me, because again, my wife stay at home and this is all on me, but to come over there and to see her stressing, but then to come over and be like, listen, here's what like the $4,000 we owed for our house, and here's like the $3,000 we owed for our van, and here's all this money that we owed, and I was able to collect and get, and so we cried and we held each other in our kitchen for for forever, and we just held each other, and sorry, that I'm a very emotional person, but that was awesome, So that was my support system right there, my person, my everything in the world, and we had that moment. But again, I was very fortunate, very blessed, and I know I am. I don't take it for granted for my in-laws to help me the way that they did, for my sisters to help me whenever I was first starting. There was times when I just needed I can't afford to, I need this, I need another $100 in order to buy this piece of equipment or to buy this or to do this. And just like, where am I going to get it? I've exhausted everything. And then at the time, it feels like the end of the world. It's like, how am I ever going to start this business? I can't even register my LLC because I've paid for everything else. But then you do have a great support system. I mean, I know I did, and my sisters were able to help me. They said, "Hey, they Venmoed me and Cash at me a little bit of money." They said, "Hey, you know what? We believe in you. We know you're going to do great here. Buy whatever you need." And so I was just completely just, I should just give up on my dream, to a text message later, "Hey, my dream is back at it." And so that was everything. My sisters and the team that I've had, the people I've had around me, was everything. And so you can do it on your own, but having a solid support system behind you is going to make the world of difference. So be around. It doesn't always have to be your spouse if you're single, or if you just don't have a very supportive spouse, or your friends and family. Just be around other positive people that are going to support you, because reach out to me. I support you. I will support you 1,000%. But be around people that believe in you and that believe in what you can do, because it changes everything. How you approach each day, um, how you just approach business itself. Having a solid support system is everything. So highly recommend you have some people behind you, family, friends, strangers like myself. But I promise you, there's a lot of other business owners, and we all, we're all trying to help each other out. So you can find a support system. Don't think you got to do this on your own. I mean, have that help. It makes all the difference in the world. Um, let's see. What have been a couple of things that have really helped me get to where I'm at now? For example, advertising, property management, SEO, door knocking, all that stuff. Great question. For me, and you all know this, as beating a dead horse, reviews. I can't stress it enough how important getting 5-star reviews on your Google business profile is. You need to make that your bread and butter. For those of you who aren't making that a key step for your business, you've got to start doing so, because that's going to keep selling for you over and over and over. Um, to get to where I'm at, and I am at 180 something customers right now. I just made a sale earlier today, so I have made 14 sales for the month of February. Let's fucking go. Um, but um, yeah, again, and to get to where I've gotten to, again, you can get to door knocking. You can just do strictly SEO. Some people, you yourself, you might be thinking, whoever's watching this, you might be thinking, all right, one, I hate door to door knocking. I suck at that. You That's fine. That's completely fine. One of my friends, um, he's growing his business. Never knocked on a door in his life. Growing a very successful business. I got another friend who he wants to grow his business. The only avenue that he goes about getting new customers, other than like referrals, is from door knocking. He doesn't touch the digital side really much at all. He's out there knocking on doors. I guarantee you right now he's probably knocking on a door. Um, but that's how he grows his business. You can do it with your SEO. You can have an SEO company come do it. You can pay Google for your lead. You can pay lead. You can do all that type of stuff. But to get to where I've gotten, and that question is like, how do you get to the customers? How do you grow your business? For me personally, I use the shit out of Google. I use the Google reviews. I text my customers and ask them for a 5-star review. I do a 5-star service, and then I ask for a 5-star review. I I do that with all my customers all the time, and I ask, even if it's a customer that I've been, my very first customer that I ever serviced. At the end of every service, she still gets that text message for a review. She's already left me a review, but I just do it to everybody. It's common, and I just tell them, oh yeah, it's automated. Sorry, if you've already left a review, then hey, you don't ignore the message. If you haven't left a review, leave a message or leave a review. Ignore it, whatever. But I do that. I send that message out with the link. I get those reviews, and that is one of the biggest things to help me grow um, up until this point, and it still helps me obviously. But now I am doing a course. It's called the Pest Control Millionaire Course Program. Pest Control Millionaire Program with Jake Sheldon and Jonas Olson. It's a phenomenal course. They really break down all the Facebook ads, SEO, Google SEO. I'm watching that part right now. I mean, it's just a course on how to grow your pest control business. It's working really well. And so now I've started implementing some of the free stuff that I'm learning from that into my business, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Um, but it's working really well right now, so I'm going to stick with that. But to get to where I've gotten to in my business, I listen to other people. I ask other people. I ask people who are already here where I'm at and further along. I reach out to them and I pick their brain. I find out how others have gotten to where they're at, and I just do the exact same thing that they're doing. So for you, I'm trying to get to 500. I'm trying to get to about 500 customers this year. I'm asking people who have 500 customers how they got to 500 customers. You know, if you guys who are trying to get to your first 50, your first 100, your first 200 customers are trying to figure out how to get to 180 customers, call me up, reach out to me, email me, text me, whatever it is. And I can help you do that. I can, because that's something that I've done. So I can help you get there. But how I get to the next point is I find someone who's already gotten there and I ask them and I just do what they did. That's copy and paste, brother. That's all it is, man. That's all I'm doing is just doing what they did to get to where they got. Except now I'm in a different market, different company, all that. But now it's my story, So definitely recommend that you just reach out to others, to mentors, find other people that are where you want to be at, and ask them how they got there, and then listen to their advice. They're going to give you advice just like me. A lot of you might listen to this and just listen to it just to hear what I'm saying, and some of you are going to listen to this and implement these things, and that's going to be the difference. Those of you that implement the things that I talk about and recommend you implement, those of you who do that, you're going to grow and you're going to see what happens when you do those things. So to get to where you want to be, find somebody who's already there or is past there, reach out to them, bring them value. I mean, you can ask me. I want to tell you. I mean, I love talking. I love doing all that. But ask people. People love helping others. We really do. People like to help others. So ask them how they got there, and they'll tell you. And then you just go do that yourself. And then the last question: is there anything that you specifically do to handle success, or even more so failure? How do you get yourself back up on that horse after falling off? Um, yeah, this kind of goes back to what I talked about in the military: adapting and overcoming, being willing to continue to keep going, just grind it out, Um, and what I do to handle success and failure, man, they're both synonymous in if you ask me. If I win, I acknowledge it. Whenever I make a new sale, as soon as I hang up, I call and I tell my wife, hey, I made a sale. I acknowledge that win. But act like you've been there before, I should say. Say, in sports references and things like that, it's easy for the brand new guy, the rookie, the freshman, to be in a big on the big stage and mess up because they're trying to do too much. Act like you've been there before. When you made a sale, hey, you don't need to celebrate and go crazy because you made a sale. Hey, act like you've done it before. Like for me, when I made a sale, I expect to make sales. So whenever I make a sale, I'm not too surprised because I was expecting to make that sale. So, acknowledge it. Yeah, hey, hell yeah, that's a win. But move on. Same thing with the failure. Whenever you fail, I don't want to say, and uh, I don't mean this the way that I'm going to say it. So acknowledge your success and celebrate your failure. And I don't mean if you fail or something like that, jump up and down and celebrate and be like, oh, hell yeah. Because it sucks to lose. And then when we fail and we do something, it sucks. And I get that. I failed. There's things whenever I failed at. But it's only a true failure if you don't learn. So when you lose, celebrate those losses. Again, don't jump up and down, but understand that, hey, something, it didn't go for me right now the way I wanted it to go or I hoped it gone, or something happened and I lost. But it's only a true failure if you don't learn. So now you figured out not a way that you lost, but a way to, that you didn't figure out a way to lose, but you figured out a way that's not going to help you win. You know what I'm saying? So every loss, take something away from it. Celebrate it because you can take something away from that you can use the next time, and you won't make that mistake again. And whatever it could be, maybe it's a failure or a loss could be a customer canceling because you said you would be there at 1 o'clock and you didn't show up there until 2 o'clock. That's a failure. It sucks, because customer was expecting you, and it's a loss, but you've learned now. Hey, uh, a reservice or whatever it was, they were expecting me at 1. Little things like that. Be there at 1. You can tone up. You can fix those things. So whenever you have a setback or a loss, celebrate it because now you get the opportunity to fix something. And when you continue to get those opportunities, when you continue to get more opportunity to fix things, make it better, you just make a well-oiled machine. And so every failure, or I'm sorry, every loss or every setback is just a stepping stone and something that you learn on how to not succeed. So now don't do that again. Try something different. Do everything the same except try one little minor thing different, and maybe that's what made the difference. And now that's it, the difference from success and failure is usually just it's microscopic, it's minuscule. So tweak those changes and become a winner. So whenever you have those win success, whenever you have those losses, when those failures, when something happens, you bid and you didn't get the bid, it's gonna suck, but hey, you learn from it, So handle everything, act like you've been there, have a level head, and you'll be just all right. Like I said, every loss, I wrote it down right here. Every loss is an opportunity, and you're going to learn a lot from that, and you're going to learn a lot more from losses than from the successes. So, so just accept it, take it for what it is, and use it to your advantage. Learn from everything you can. Learn from yourself. One of my dad's favorite quotes that he used to say was, "A smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others." And so that's what I'm hoping you are, is the wise man learning from my mistakes. And so you watch these YouTube videos and you're able to learn from me because, again, I'm those eyes around the corner for you. But those were some of those answers to some of the questions that they had. I enjoyed answering them. I thought they were great questions. Hopefully you can appreciate the answers. But more importantly, hopefully you guys are subscribing, you're liking, and you're taking away some really good, valuable information that you can use and implement in your business to help you grow and scale and become very successful. Again, next week I'll have somebody on. You're going to hear some of the same questions, but again, somebody else is going to be answering them, so we'll get different answers, and and different perspectives on some of these things. But until then, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Keep growing those businesses, keep grinding, keep hustling. And as always, everybody, stay confident and take care.